It's about 10 p.m. and I have just shut down for the evening. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a producer and a mix engineer and a session guitarist, and I do some mastering here in Nashville, Tennessee. I've charted top 40 on Billboard. I've had a bunch of number ones on iTunes and Amazon and some other radio charts, some international charts. So what I don't want is for anyone to think that this video is me complaining. I'm not about to pity myself for the level of work that I have, for the amount of work that I have, or for any other reason. What I want to do in this video is just be completely real and completely honest. And in some way, I hope that this will help someone deal with some of these struggles that you inevitably are going to encounter on your path to making a career out of this music thing. So tonight I want to talk about the hardest things that I deal with being a full-time producer. I'm gonna do my best to spin this in a positive way because that's how I roll. So hopefully you can relate to some of these hardships, get something out of some of my solutions to these hardships, and hopefully it helps you along your path to a music career. One of the things that seems to be a constant struggle or a constant grind, if you will, being a full-time music producer, full-time mix engineer, is networking with the quantity of people it takes to actually stay busy, to actually be booked every single day. But let's use mixing for example. On average, I can mix about 2 songs in a day. Let's say that the average client I work with is releasing a 5-song EP. That means that it takes me 2.5 days to mix an EP. Is that right? It's very late and I'm very tired, so I'm not sure that math is right. 2.5 days to mix an EP. That means if I want to stay completely booked and actually stay busy, I need to mix 2 EPs a week. There's 52 weeks in a year, so that means I need 104 EPs in order to stay booked. That's a massive networking challenge to even be in front of that many people and to know that many people. It's one of the reasons why I take my social media so seriously. I have largely built my career on Facebook and Instagram in terms of getting myself in front of potential clients. I work on some label projects and I work on bigger projects as well, but the day in, day out, what keeps me booked every single day is a lot of independent artists. Mostly I connect with on social media first. So social media is one of the ways I get around this massive networking challenge and how to cultivate that many relationships that actually allows me to stay that busy. Now, since what I do is all over the place, I've found that in order for me to actually stay busy all the time, I need to be continuously working with somewhere between 5 and 8 clients simultaneously, because it never fails. There's scheduling issues, band members out of town, the singer, songwriter ran out of money and they need a few weeks before they can continue working. I'm waiting for this session player to become available to play on the song. It just never fails. There's always obstacles in these projects. I can't just ever work from start to finish on one song or on one project. There's always days of downtime. And so what I do is I have multiple clients running simultaneously, so that way they kind of leapfrog each other. As this project hits a down moment where I'm waiting for a payment or I'm waiting for scheduling issues or whatever, then this project picks up the slack, and then this project picks up the slack, and they all just kind of leapfrog over each other. And I've found that's the only way for me to actually stay busy every single day. And it's the only way for me to actually continually pay my bills doing this. So this obviously also creates its own set of challenges. Juggling 5 to 8 different projects simultaneously, keeping every project moving along equally is pretty tough sometimes. And it's this weird balancing act of, if I don't do this, then I don't actually work every day and I don't actually make enough money to pay my bills. And if I do this, then there are times where every project is hitting on all 8 cylinders and everyone's ready to go, and I can't keep up with it because there's not enough hours in the day. I don't have an answer to this one. I just do the best I can with with the situations that I'm dealt. One of the things I struggle with absolutely the most is setting boundaries. It never fails that I'm like, you know what, come 7 p.m. I'm gonna stop working. I'm not gonna respond to text messages. I'm not gonna respond to emails. I'm not gonna get on social media. I'm gonna relax for the night. But then it never fails that, like, I've got a night where I'm free and I'm like, you know what? I should be hustling, I should be working. And so then I'm replying to 20 emails and I'm texting everybody back and replying to messages on social media. And one of the things that this does is this gives potential clients or people I'm corresponding with the impression that I'm available at all hours of the night to discuss things. And while sometimes that's the case, sometimes I'm still texting a client at 1 a.m. It's really hard when you do that sometimes to then not do that and make sure people don't take it personally or get upset at you. And so that is something that I continually struggle with, and I just try to get back to everybody as I can. And then I still have my nights where I'm like not looking at my phone anymore. I have to shut down. I have to spend time with my little girl or with my wife. This is real first world problems. Dealing with, oh, so many people want to hire you, you're complaining about having to message them all back. I really don't want this video to come off like I'm complaining. I'm just hoping that some of you will relate to this and hopefully this will help some of you. Admittedly, this is becoming less and less of an issue as I work through my career and as my career grows and expands, but working with clients that have a different creative vision than my own has been one of the biggest struggles of my career, where you think we have a pre-production meeting and we think we're on the same page, and then as the music starts coming to life, we're not on the same page. Usually in those moments, what I have to do is I have to remember that it's the artist's music. It's their baby. And my job, as a producer anyway, my job is just to shine the most marketable light I can on their music, and that's how I really view these things. And so if a singer wants to add a harmony that I'm not crazy about and they're really stoked on it, they love it so much, it's my job not to impede the artist's vision. My job is to stay out of the way as much as possible and just make sure that the project stays on track and ends up being the best it can possibly be within the artist's vision. And so the longer I do this and the more records I've done, I mean, I've lost count at this point, it's been thousands of records, the more I realize that my job is to embody the artist's vision in the best light possible. And so hopefully that helps someone, because that was something I struggled with pretty heavily for a long time. And I used to actually kind of take it personally. Now, there have been times when these differences in creative vision have led to me losing clients. And that's a rough one. Man, there's just about nothing worse than getting halfway through a project or all the way through a project and a client being so unhappy with your work that they decided to go somewhere else and either have someone else finish it or have someone else redo it. The unfortunate reality is, if you do this producer, mix engineer, whatever thing for long enough, there's gonna be a moment when you lose clients, when a client walks away from you to go somewhere else because they're unhappy with the work that you're doing or you're just not a good fit. And the first couple of times, I didn't have any idea how to take it. It crushed me. And what I realize now is it's just part of it. If 1 out of 1,000 clients walks away and they have someone else finish my job, I wish them all the best. I hope it works out for them. But it took a lot of years for me to get to this point of maturity where I didn't harbor bad feelings towards people. I don't really deal with this anymore, but as some of you are climbing the ranks, you probably will deal with this, and it's something that I dealt with for a long time. There's this thing called Impostor Syndrome. Basically what it means is you don't feel worthy. You feel like at any moment someone's gonna pull the curtain back on you and realize that you're a fraud. As my productions and my mixes started charting, I started having some feelings like this, like, what if someone finds out that I'm not actually the real deal, that I'm not really this great producer, great mix engineer. And it's a very odd syndrome because simultaneously music that I'm working on is becoming massively successful, and then I'm over here in my own little headspace wondering if anyone's gonna find out if I'm faking it till I've made it. I don't even really have an answer as to how I got past that, but at some point I started realizing that I was worthy of the things that were happening. I was partially responsible for the success of the music that I worked on. I am worthy of working with great artists, and I absolutely am capable of producing fantastic results consistently time and time again. The last thing that I struggle with still to this day is making sure I set aside enough time for my family, making sure I'm continually taking care of the relationships that mean the most to me. This is probably something that just about every entrepreneur struggles with. It's incredibly difficult to hustle hard enough and to work hard enough to actually create a successful business, and doing so while trying to maintain relationships with family, my wife, my daughter, friends. It's a real challenge. It has taken a massive amount of hours to get where I am, massive amount of sacrifice in every single way imaginable. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. I really hope that this helped you. I hope that you could relate to this. I hope this maybe prepared you for some situations that you may encounter in the future. Again, none of this was to complain. This was purely for the sake of being completely open and honest with the struggles that regardless of how successful someone is, regardless of how on top of the world they may seem, we live in this social media age where we all are just putting our best foot forward and everything's awesome. We're great. I do my very best to be open and honest about this stuff, to be real. And even though things are going very well for me, I don't ever want to be the reason why someone feels depressed about their own life. Because chances are the struggles that you're going through, I either have been through or am still going through. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, I would love it if you would. It would mean the world to me. Hit the subscribe tab and the bell icon next to it. And give me a thumbs up on this video if you liked it. If you did not like it, hit the thumbs down twice. I'd love to hear from you guys what you are struggling with the most. Drop me a comment and let me know what your biggest struggles within your music career are. Maybe it'll be the topic of a future video that will help someone. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day.